What's up, everybody, and welcome to Enters the Lab. We got a great show for you tonight. It's just gonna be me and CHenry tonight. DT had to attend to some school things, but right now we finna sit over here and get into this work, y'all. Welcome to Enter the Lab. All right, see him. We as well, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to your team. You
Thank
know
you.
what I
Thank
mean?
thank
Congratulations. Um,
thank you.
I know that Detroit people were actually crying.
Mm.
We're doing a lot of stuff when it came down for Detroit, man. So I know we're gonna get into it, but just tell us the moment that you knew, like, man, we going to this NFC championship.
Well, first and foremost, first of all, let me just say hello, good evening, welcome to Championship Week to you, Lady E. Um, I wanted to just say thank you to your city for hosting me this past week. Me and my family were down there in the A, and we had a great time the whole weekend. Great food, great activities. And again, on Sunday we pulled up and watched the game at a nice location, Nouveau. I believe it was in the College Park area. Shout out to them. The food was great, service was great. Um, Black owned, African American owned. Support. If y'all are in the area, had a great time, man. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was emotional, man. The last time I witnessed a playoff victory, in the second round of the playoffs, I was probably like 12, 13 years old with my dad. You know what I'm saying? We were actually at the game at the Silver Dome at the time. I got a chance to run into my nephew while I was down there in Atlanta, and we watched the Lions win for the first time in 32 years. So, it was a little bit emotional, but the job is not done, man. We got a big game this week we're going to definitely talk about, but it was emotional for a lot of fans. Again, this team is definitely connected to the community. And again, with all the winning that's going on in the area, man, why not us? You know what I'm saying? Why not us? Let's keep it moving, baby.
Exactly. I mean, we got some good matchups going on with this divisional rounds. So I think everybody gonna be tuned in. This is gonna be one for the ages. I believe the Super Bowl is gonna be lit, even though they got Ursher performing. But I feel like the Super Bowl is gonna be exactly it. So let's go dive back to the games from this past weekend
Yeah.
that were there. We're gonna leave your game for last, but let's start with the first game up, and then remind me who played. No, okay, let's start with the Ravens and the Bucks. Let's
Yeah,
start.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, let's start with the Ravens and the Bucks. I already knew the Bucks was gonna get rolled. I was hoping
Hmm.
the Bucks were gonna get rolled.
Hmm.
But it was a kind of an embarrassing I would say for a Bucks team, shout out to them. I'm not going to be all the way biased, even though I can't stand them, but shout out for them because I don't think a lot of people would have saw that a Baker Mayfield led offense was going to get that far, let alone win the NFC South when it first came out. So to actually see them go, make it to the round, and again they ran up against a Lamar Jackson. You know.
So I'm all, first of all, Baltimore, you look damn good. Coming off the week, coming off the bye, so a lot of times there's some teams that, kind of exhibit some rust. They look damn good, man.
Let's play the
Yeah.
Lions. I'm tripping. Y'all don't
You good,
charge
you
my
good, you
heart.
good. I got you. So,
Yeah.
The Houston Texans, good team. First of all, I want to congratulate you guys on a wonderful, wonderful season. You guys have nothing to hang your head about. Definitely not the showing that you probably were looking forward to in that game. But the future is bright for you. CJ Stroud is it looks to be a player. I'm saying a building block at the very least, if not the centerpiece of a wonderful organization going forward. You've got Nico Collins. You lost Tank Dale during the season. You're still going to grow offensively and defensively. You still got pieces to add. I think D'Amico Ryans did a great job. I'm saying his first year in that with that as the head coach. So they definitely look good, man, and the future is bright for them. Baltimore continue to be awesome defensively. Didn't give up one offensive touchdown in this game. Lamar Jackson, after a really, really slow start in this game, really, really turned it on, showed that he could, get it done with his feet as well as his arm. Pretty much cemented. I mean, if it wasn't already cemented, pretty much cemented himself as probably this year's MVP. Then we're going to talk about how much pressure's on him now. But with that being said, they move forward. There's not much to talk about. Houston didn't put up much of a fight in this game, and Baltimore marched on.
Yeah, I mean, CJ was 19 for 33 for 175 yards that game. I mean, I saw I saw the potential. I really did. I saw the potential between them going against. A lot of people said that, Houston could actually match up with the Baltimore's defense. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. So I mean, you kind of saw the struggles. You kind of saw what Houston is. Like I said, I do agree. Houston's future is very, 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 very bright for them. Shout out to CJ Stroud, because we all know he's going to run that Rookie of the Year. That Rookie of the Year this year. Again, I do hats off to D'Amico Ryan for doing what they need to do. I mean, that even helped their offensive coordinator, get a lot of looks
Yeah.
for a future head coach. So again, it was a lot of things that I did like that Houston did, during the season. But I'm gonna stay over here for Baltimore, because I know we got it later on in the segment. We're gonna get deeper into Lamar, but this right now, this is everything for Lamar. Lamar showed that he can do it. He stayed healthy all this season, and he finally showed that he can get his team over the hump. Now, the issue that I think a lot of people are going to say is, can he finally put everything together to make it to that Super Bowl? And I believe right now, with the way that defense is playing with Baltimore, and the way that they kind of showed, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say Houston was an easy team. That's not an easy team, especially when you have a team that kind of snuck in there. I really want to say snuck in there, but a lot of people didn't pin them in the beginning of the season to make it to where they made it. So again, yes, they're coming. They're going to play a Kansas City Chiefs team, and we're going to see. We're going to see. I think everybody's rooting for Lamar. They want Lamar to follow through it, but we're going to see.
I don't know, man. It's a lot of KC love still out here, but we'll talk about that once we talk about that game, though. I don't know which one was next. Was it the San Fran or Green Bay?
San Fran and Green Bay. That's next.
Oh.
All I'm gonna say is Jordan Love had the biggest Brett Favre moments I have ever seen. Like, why would you throw that? Why would you throw that? That was going to be the biggest upset of them all if Green Bay was to take down the 49ers. I have to say this, and I know I have a lot of 49er fans. I love you guys. Like I said, my mama is from the Bay. I don't rep the Bay, but I know the Bay, okay? But I don't know this year. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. You kind of have to put the question mark on Purdy.
Don't talk to him like that. I don't want them to be in your mentions. I don't want them to be upset, but talk to him. I like the way you sound, and talk to him a little bit.
I mean, don't give me, and I don't want to bring back up somebody that said in the beginning of the season that somebody was a game manager, but I'm not. I don't know. I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see.
Do you attribute it to strictly rust on their part, or have you
That's
seen
not
some
rust. I don't think that was rust. Like you know rust. Okay, you've seen rust. We have seen some number ones just look terrible, from the coaching all the way down to special team. We didn't see this. To be honest with you, he made some plays. Again, he was 23 for 30.
He being who? Put a name on it. He being who?
Who? Purdy. Look, who said that?
I didn't know which he was talking about, so I just want to put a name on it. He being who? Game manager and all. Like, who we talking about? Which one?
Look. I'm gonna put a name on it. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Purdy. And Purdy.
Purdy, huh? Okay.
But Purdy, I mean, he had one TD. Again, if I'm looking at somebody that's supposed to be a franchise quarterback, I expect a lot more. I did not see that. I did not see that. Green Bay had their way with their defense. Because again, I'm literally at a basketball game and I'm like, Dang, Green Bay up 3-0. Dang, Green Bay up
Mm,
now 10 to like I'm looking
mm,
at this now. This is a young Green Bay's team. I'll be honest with you. This is a young Green Bay's team, but I'm looking at Jordan Love throwing this ball of
mm,
Aaron Rodgers. Like he is playing this team. And for it to be 24-21, come on now. Let's be real. If he did not make that last throw, make that last little pick, we probably be having a different conversation this week. Seriously. This San Francisco 49ers team, it does not look like San Francisco 49ers in prior
mm,
seasons. Like I
mm.
don't know if it's just not hitting for me. And it kind of showed, you know what I mean, when it came down to it with this young Green Bay team.
I got so much to say. As you can see, I'm trying not to, what I'm saying, hark back to some of these spaces I was in these last couple of days, what I'm saying, when hearing so much from some of these 49er fans who I'm not going to say feel like they have a sense of entitlement, but they're a very, very storied franchise. Very, 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 very storied franchise, very, very proud franchise. And I understand that. But their success it's a little bit dated in terms of the
Mhm.
ships, and I get it. I'm coming from a team that has never sipped of the cup, but in the moment, though, I don't think this game that we're going to talk about in the future is going to be so clear cut. And why do I feel so confident about that? Because of what I just saw from the Green Bay Packers. I look at this game,
Mhm.
24-21. For 3 quarters, Jordan Love, to your point, looked like Aaron Rodgers to me. Looked like the guys who have been, what I'm saying, habitually 49er killers, if you
Mhm.
will. Pinpoint with the passing. They were controlling the defensive front of the 49ers. They didn't give up any sacks in this game. We're talking about Bosa. We're talking about Hargrave. We're talking about Armstead. We're talking about Chase Young. 0 sacks to the Green Bay Packers. We're talking about Aaron Jones being able to accumulate 108 yards. He did have, a couple of, bigger runs in that game, but still,
Yeah.
no sacks, 108 yards in that game, and the 3 quarters having firm control of that game. It wasn't just a bad throw across his body that Jordan Love did on first down. Somebody was like, "Was that fourth down?" Like, damn, like why did he? No, on first down, 42 seconds left, first down. He made
Yeah.
that throw, but before that, 2 series before that, he had an opportunity to hit Aaron Jones in the pass over the middle for
Mhm.
just not a short game, but enough to extend the drive for a first down. He threw the
Yeah.
pass behind him. The pass that ended up getting tipped and got intercepted by Greenlaw. That pass was hot. That pass was behind the tight end. I can't remember his name. I don't know if it was Kraft or Musgrave. He put his
Mhm.
hand up. The ball got tipped. Then it got intercepted. That was one where he had his guy, but he gave him an inaccurate throw. And then we had the cross your body toss from hell that basically ended I'm saying their dreams. That whole quarter they played bad. You mix into that a missed field goal by the Green Bay Packers in that game. We're talking about 24 points given up. You talk about actually definitely one for sure drop interception. I think there was a possibility for another one or two other interceptions in this game as well. And we talk about a number of opportunities that Green Bay had to
Yeah.
possibly put additional points on this game and put pressure on San Francisco. So with that being said, Green Bay didn't make those plays. They lost the game. They're going to be going home, unfortunately, but I think their future is bright as well with Jordan Love.
Oh yeah.
Like I said earlier in the season, I just felt there was no way possible that he could sit in that room and not soak up some amount of game from Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. There's no
Yes.
way possible, and
Yes.
he is a physically gifted player himself. They are an extremely young team, solid defensively. I think they are going to look at possibly changing their defensive coordinator because they should have got a little bit more out of that defense. But with that being said, they're going to be a problem in our division for years to come. But
Yep.
missed opportunities, man. Missed opportunities. And this week could have been looking a little bit different.
Yep, exactly. So Dave said, Dev said Puka had a better year than Stroud, but it's a QB award. So that I'm only saying that because I know you was going for Puka. You was
Yeah,
going for
yeah. Puka was my man. But if we're talking about offensive player of the year, or rookie of the year, Jameer kind of, what I'm saying, slowly but surely got into the race too. So, you know.
all right. And thank you, Mike. I'm glad that we making somebody out here happy. All right, but the next game on here is Chiefs versus Bills. Now, here's
Oh,
I love
oh,
how when I decided to choose the Bills, they finally want to show up. I love it because this just shows what I've been saying. They are not ready. So, how many times
man.
are we gonna have this conversation about Josh Allen, huh? How many times are we gonna have this conversation about this man? What more can we say about this man? This man every time. If it's not the Chiefs or the big, like this man cannot get over this hump. What is the issue? Because again, we know we're not San Francisco. We know the Chiefs have been, I don't want to say mediocre, but has not been what we have known the Kansas City Chiefs to be in the past. We know that they have wide receiver issues. We know their defense is solid, but the wide receiver issue is mainly Travis Kelsey kind of being a little bit inconsistent this year. And
He
some
old, not inconsistent.
somehow,
He old, and he got a little swift whip going on. He old with a little swift whip on him. I don't know how old Swift is, but he swift whip with a little knee contusion. That'll slow a brother down.
I'm not going to play with you. I am not. Uh, but Andy Reid, it seems like he's channeling his inner Mike Tomlin and finding any type of way to win with this type of squad. You
Swift looked limber when she was swagging and surfing out there. She looked limber when she was swagging and surfing. Watch out, man. That tricky knee, brother. You better wear that brace, Mr.
uh,
Kelsey.
you know what? I'm not fit to play with you. Y'all don't buy
Let's have some fun today. Let's have some fun today.
I'm dead. But what is the real question that we can ask about Josh Allen? Like what can we ask? He
I ain't
was
gonna lie to you, man. Listen, first and foremost, man, listen, Buffalo, man, y'all been fighting a good fight, man, for a good 8 weeks, man. Hey, it finally caught up to y'all, man. And low key, man, I'm feeling like, you should be proud of the effort that you gave. To be honest with you, Josh Allen, I mean, there was a couple of plays that he could have made that could have made the difference. There was a couple of plays out there that he probably left on the field, but he be doing so much for him in the first place. It's like, damn, who gonna get a sack? Shit, who, you know what I'm saying? Y'all talking about what I'm gonna do? Who gonna get a pick sometime? You know what I'm saying? Y'all talking about all these picks I'm throwing? Yeah, I am. I am, but I mean, I'm doing every damn thing. I'm the runner. I'm Jim Browning. I'm trying to be Tom Brady. I'm doing everything out here.
I mean, you're not
I
lying
need a
about
couple of yard checks. That's what the hell I need. I need a couple of yard checks, man, because if y'all and listen, if I could throw the ball and catch the ball myself, y'all would draw up a play for that too.
that.
Y'all
Yeah.
would because
I mean, he was 12 attempts for 72 yards rushing, and he was 26 for 39 for 186 yards. So, I mean, what more can
sometimes
we
it be
say?
his fault, and I give him, all the grief, possible. But again, there was a couple of plays, but they want him to be perfect and handle the complete load. I really like the way Brady had kind of incorporated Cook into the offense, the last
Mhm.
couple of weeks. He wasn't quite as involved in terms of seemingly in the passing game to me this game. He wasn't effective in the run game, like he's been, before. But what happened to Diggs? Like for real, like dog, the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's like a disappearing act, and they're trying to get him the ball. He had a couple of drops in this
I'm
game.
gonna say this. I don't think Diggs can be that number one wide receiver. I see him as a two.
Very, very high end too, huh?
Very, very high into because I don't see it. And this season really kind of shown like right now. I understand he's mad he's not getting the targets, but I'm just like the reason why you're not getting the targets. I think you're just not a number one wide receiver. You're number two.
But he got 9 targets in this last game. He got 9 targets. I mean, there was a couple of balls that were, could be
Mhm.
considered drops as well. Like dog, but the real dogs, I mean, they make it damn near impossible to not throwing the ball. So if you tell me that they just not throwing you the ball and you wide, as we say, butt ass naked open, that's
Mhm.
one thing. But are you getting the separation that you claim you are? Are you really open? You know what I'm saying? And when is giving you chances to make plays on these so-called 50-50 balls, are you gonna make the play, bro?
Exactly. You can't always be looking for the ref to help you out. I'm not a fan of that. If it's a 50-50 ball, go out there and go get it. But if you can't always depend on the ref to help you out. And I feel like that's kind of what he does a little bit. It depends on the ref to help him out.
I got one question for you, Lady E. It's not on the script, but I had to throw it in there. It just came to mind on because my mind is really open right now. So check this out. Sean McDermott, we talked about them possibly
Mhm.
losing the first round and him possibly being out of that job. Do they need another voice? Is he not elevating the team as a coach? Or is this just a situation where they just came up short? They ran into, the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, let me tell you these stats. Patrick Mahomes was 17 for 23 for 215 yards. I don't want to say they ran up against the legend and the giant of Patrick Mahomes. I do believe that they're gonna have to look at the coaching staff. I think that the firing of the OC, I don't think that was all the OC. And a lot of people, as a Falcon fan, how Dan Quinn had Sarkisian, we threw Sarkisian underneath the bus and fired him. Because of that, and still kept Quinn, and it still was the same situation the following year. Sometimes the coach got to take a look in the mirror. Like, are you pretty much getting these guys prepared? Are you in there? Are you being that active leader? And I honestly, I don't see it because even after this, I know a lot of people on Twitter were hollering, you might have to go through a whole coaching change. And I'm believing that. I think it might need to be probably about some time to get some flesh blood in there, and see if that actually happens to take place. What's up, DT? Okay, we can't hear you. Now you're pulling a C. Henry.
Y'all gonna stop. Y'all gonna re nickname that too. New year.
I can hear you just a little bit.
Oh, I'm at the game. Man, we got what, man? My hometown they came and whooped, man.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
The practice, that's nasty.
Mm. The pat. Listen, y'all gonna have to get a new owner and a new coach over there too.
Exactly. Exactly. So why you're here, Henry asked a great question. So we're talking about the Bills and the Chiefs game. Do you think that it's time for a coaching change and some new blood to be in that Bills organization?
For the Bills, I don't know. I feel like it's tough. I do feel like they need new blood, but at the same time, what we just witnessed with, you know, them losing again in the divisional round and the wild card, it's a lot to be said. What's going to happen to this organization? Um, they've been, a lot of people try to point to Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, he's done the best he can, but the question this week has been, can he pull through with those moments? The greats pull through with the moments, and we only seen probably legit one moment with him, and that was the 13-second game, and he didn't get an opportunity to get the ball back. So
Mhm.
I don't think they're gonna fire McDermott. I think they're gonna go another year, but it's gonna be a lot of questions with the roster. That roster is a little bit older. Some of the safeties, linebacker stuff defensively. Von Miller signed a big contract. I don't expect him to be back. Edge rushers needed, D line. It's a lot of question marks. Even Stephon Diggs, that's gonna be up to the air. Is he gonna go to Dallas with his brother? That's gonna be
They need
some big
another.
questions for the
Can they
Bills.
pay? Can they pay him?
Dallas will find a way to pay him.
They'll find a way to pay him. Jerry Jones, he'll do his thing, man.
And they need another wide receiver because you can't keep zoning in and honing in on CD Lamb, honey. You can't keep doing that.
I mean, but that's a very, very expensive little toy back there. They also need a running back, as well. I would rather spend money on the running back and then try to draft a receiver in this receiver-rich draft than try to pay Diggs. You know what I mean? Because then, again, you pouting right now. You already know Dak is going to pepper CD with 15 targets, bro. You about to go over there and be the Brandon Cooks. You about to be the Gabriel Davis, if you will, to CD. You're not, you know what I'm saying? It might look kind of like how it looked in Minnesota a little bit, but understand, like, if you're not liking how it's going down in Buffalo and you the number one, you gonna have to get your mind right to be in that number 2 slot. You're gonna have to.
Exactly. Um, so that pretty much that pretty much but literally like I said, I feel like it's time for some new blood. I really do. I feel like it's about that time to have that new blood probably in the Bills organization. And that's just me. You
The only
know,
reason I mention that is because and we can slide into it in a minute. The only reason I mention that is because we still have two very, very prominent names out here in the coaching market.
mhm.
You have Bill Belichick out here. You have a Vrabel still out here. We got a couple of openings. The Commanders in Seattle still out here. Congratulations to the Atlanta Falcons for Raheem Morris, you know what I'm saying, being named their head coach. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick he was already looking at places. He had got him a place that was like adjacent to Magic Cities because he had heard about the yams and the greens that was there. So he had got him a spot adjacent to it. But, you know, they went a whole different direction with Raheem and them, you know what I mean? But with that being said, if they were, it looks like Philadelphia is not going to make that type of change at the top. It looks like Dallas is not going to make that type of change at the top. Buffalo is probably not going to make that change at the top.
Yeah.
Could this cycle possibly go full cycle and not have Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel as coaches next year?
I mean, I can honestly see that right now because we all know it's a copycat lead, and what D'Amico Ryan did down there for the Texans. I honestly think it's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to copy that. Again, they've been on the verge of trying to copy what Andy Reid did over there at KC, as you know. Even when McVay got hired, a lot of them wanted to go find the younger coaches to go try to go get it. You know what I mean? So again, it's a copycat league, and I think the new trend now is go find either ex players, as we've seen that Antonio Pierce got hired with the Raiders, but it might be finding ex players or people that know these organizations, as you can see with Atlanta going back with Raheem Morris. You got to think, you know what I mean? Everybody always wanted the up and coming young head coach, but I think a lot of people are starting to think like maybe the veteran route may be the good way. But with Belichick being 71, I don't know. You got to think it took Andy Reid 7 years to win in Kansas City, and he came in at the age of 55. So you got a Bill Belichick who is 71. How long are you going to have him in the league?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only one that I could see that would be a shocker would be Vrabel. That's the only one. But I can kind of see why a lot of people are kind of so, you know, in the sense. But and to answer your question, Dallas will be probably more than likely sticking with Dak. I don't know if Jerry wants to let go of that yet.
Dak almost do some more money too, so we gotta watch that. Dak almost time, Dak gonna try to get that 45, 50. No, I'm sorry, about 50, 55 million probably.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see about that. And to Ann, yes, so much better for Atlanta and so much worse for y'all. I love to see the Saints. Yes. Last divisional game before we switch gears. We got the Bucks and the Lions. Now I know I said Bucks and Ravens earlier. Y'all don't understand. I've been kind of hype. I've been in spaces since like 4 o'clock today. Talking about Raheem Morris. So excuse me. But yes, the Bucks and the Lions.
Is DT throwing up gang signs over here?
I think he's throwing a YSL. He better put that down. And he probably actually froze, so he's probably gonna get dropped here in a minute. But but yes, the Lions and the Bucks. Now I'm gonna let you start off with this because this is your team. Tell me what you liked from what you saw with your team and what you didn't like.
I liked everything, man. The whole game was beautiful from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful atmosphere, beautiful energy. And it's gonna be an exciting game when you mess with us. You know what I'm saying? We got the offense that can put points up on the board, and we got the defense that's seen the can't, stop folks from putting points up on the board. So it's gonna always be an exciting game when we're in the mix. And this one didn't let us down either. This was our perfect blueprint, for how we win our games. We do our best to try to stop the run, even though Rachaad White did have some success against, I think he was 9 of 55 on the ground. I think they had 89 total yards rushing. But for the most part, we did a good job stopping the run. They decided to start attacking us through the air, like most teams do. Baker Mayfield, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans, again, if you're a top 10, top 15, top 17 receiver, you're going to probably get you 85 to maybe 181 yards. Well, Puka put up on 181 yards a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So anywhere between there, you liable to go off. You know what I'm saying? And we saw Mike Evans do that again, 147 and a touch. But again, though, able to get to the quarterback and create negative plays. 4 sacks in this game. Couple turnovers in this game. Baker Mayfield made a couple of bad throws. We fooled him a couple times, and we were able to, take advantage of that and put points up on the board.
All right, and we're live.
Yeah, so we did a great job. Our magic number is 23. You know what I'm saying? We feel our defense, if they can hold folks to 23 points and we can score more than 23 points, that's a sweet spot for us. And that's what happened in this game. We held Tampa Bay to 23 points. They scored 5 times. We scored 5 times. We scored 3 touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns and kicked a couple of field goals, and that's going to be that's been our recipe all season. So good win for us. Great win in front of our home crowd. Now we got to take it, to the West Coast, baby, to the Bay. Here we go.
Child. Look, hey, I love it. I mean, again, like I said earlier, I knew that Baker and them weren't going to be able to sustain y'all. I think a lot of people kind of in a sense already, knew what the situation was when it came over there. So again, I love the game plan. My concern, like I said prior to last week, was basically this: can Dan Campbell not Dan Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't. I love it. I love him sticking to the game plan. I love him trusting what Goff can do. I love him not panicking any moment. I love the time management, the coaching decisions, and everything. So it just shows you guys were really actually prepared for what Tampa is. And then one thing I do like, even though on film, I know that that Baker was, we all know they prep or whatever, and they were looking at some of the defensive schemes that you guys were throwing. One thing the announcers noticed and mentioned that you guys were throwing different looks. So I love that for the defensive coordinator and the coach to go ahead and, say, hey, we already know we got our scheme on film, but we want to make sure that we come away and win this game. And boom, there it goes. So shout out to y'all, shout out to your DC, shout out to Dan Campbell for that. I love the little back and forth with the dance moves and how Amon-Ra St. Brown was over there mocking up Baker, and how CJ Garner said, hey, that one was for him. You know what I mean? So I love it. And I'm proud of it. We can't laugh about Detroit. They may have been 1-16 once upon a time.
0-16.
Yeah,
0 for a whole season.
I gave y'all one win, but 0-16 at one point in time. And look at y'all now. So shout out to Detroit. Go out there to the Bay, represent the Big D. I can't wait to see this game, because again, I'm still scratching my head.
Okay, listen, I'm already prepared for what you might say, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Like, hey, like I said,
me, though. I don't know. You'll surprise me once in a while. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
we're gonna see when we get down to the picks. We're gonna see. Again, we kind of touched based on this with the Buffaloes collapse with their future in doubt, and I do agree that their future is in doubt right now. Again, I do believe that they should clean house. I really do think that I think it's about that time. And I think that's kind of where we gotta start looking, because again, how many times are the Bills are going to be in this situation? Don't get me wrong, I know they have a history of going to Super Bowls and losing all 4, but this is a new era.
I will say this about Buffalo. You like Josh, there's some things, he's a gunslinger. You may want him to be a little bit more game manager-ish at times, but you like him as a weapon. Cook is a solid back. Diggs, mercurial player, but those are, a lot of times that's what, those diva wide receivers are.
Yeah.
You like Kincaid. Defensively, they're really, really banged up. They're really, really injured at the linebacker spot. They need a closer when it comes to a pass rusher. They need somebody who can at least put pressure on the quarterback and give you that 8 to 10, 12 sacks a game. I'm sorry, a year type
Yeah.
player. You know what I'm saying? If he's not getting there, he's demanding the attention so other folks can put pressure on the quarterback. And they just don't have that. And you know, we've looked at a couple of years of Tre'Davious White being injured. It's probably, you know, he's probably past his prime as well at that, you know, cornerback spot. They still are young enough. They have some holes, no doubt, but they're still young enough to be like, okay, I don't think the window for this team is totally closed, but a new voice wouldn't be, you know, I think totally out of the question. Joe Brady, whoever the new guy is as the OC, stylistically it looked better to me. I like that they were, you know, trying to use other weapons in the offense, getting Cook involved, but statistically they were not as efficient as they were with Ken Dorsey. So maybe they go in another direction and get, you know, another OC. So interesting to see what Buffalo is, because I don't think the window was closed. As long as you got a guy like Josh, hey, you're gonna be in the mix.
Yeah, and that's why I said I don't think the window will be closed for that. I just think it's just time for new blood. You know, maybe get somebody in there to that's probably a little. I mean, again, they fired the OC, and you know Joe Brady's been cooking ever since. But again, I just don't see it. I don't know if it's just a curse or not. So we'll see when it comes down to that in the future when it comes down to the Bills again. The Bills still got to show me something. So let's get on to the coaching updates. So I'm just gonna say this because I'm the new breed in here. You know, I finally got me a coach. I'm just gonna say, you know, kind of in a sense, play my little theme music. Cause right now it ain't no more playing GA.
Okay.
Okay, y'all don't.
Okay,
Y'all,
lady. She got a coach, y'all. She got
yes,
a coach, y'all.
I got a coach.
Woo!
I
I
actually
can't
got
wait.
the first.
I can't wait to what we see when they start getting some wins. You know what I'm talking about?
Good. Baby, the dome finna be rocking. That Ben's finna be rocking. That's what's gonna happen. You know, again, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. We got our first ever black head coach in Falcons
Oh,
history. That's number one.
I didn't know that.
So
I
yep,
didn't know that.
first black coach
I didn't know that.
in our history.
Raheem.
Yep, got
Raheem,
Raheem.
and a brother, a real brother's brother. Brother Raheem in there.
Yes. So again, I'm gonna keep it honest. It is a safe coaching pick for us, because one, as everybody know, Blank wanted to have somebody that's experienced, that's more of a vet than more so of a first year head coach. We were tied to Belichick forever, but Rich McKay basically kind of said, wait a minute, we got some concerns. Let me go ahead and pull this back. And again, Bill Belichick is 71 years old. I get it. He's the greatest, one of the greatest head coaches of all time. I understand that, understand the winning mentality, but in the same token, we don't know how long this man was going to be coaching. Atlanta needs stability. Our coaches have been through the ringer every 3 to 5 years. So I think we're kind of out of that mix. We need to have that stability when it comes down to it. So at the end of the day, I'm happy this was a safe pick because Raheem knows the organization. He's been in the organization. He's been the head coach, and he's been doing wonders over there for the LA Rams on their defense. So I'm excited. I cannot wait. Now I just need my quarterback, and I promise you, y'all gonna see me doing the dirty bird again. But until then, I'm gonna just embrace this all in. Embrace this.
I think that's a great hire for you guys. It's funny. I got to give a shout out. You know what I'm saying? My boy C. Lou, he had put out on Twitter probably a couple of hours before this thing even dropped that he was, you know, wondering why he hadn't heard more about Raheem Morris, you know, and more head coaching searches or whatever. So definitely, you know, he was sought after by a lot of different teams. He interviewed well, got a second interview. A lot of people thought that with Harbaugh getting a second interview as well as Bill Belichick getting the interview that they were kind of the front runners for that job. I just want to give a shout out to him because, you know, not too many times we talk about folks who don't get an opportunity when it comes to being a head coach, people of color who don't get an opportunity. And he's actually getting his second opportunity to be a head coach. So I'm not going to put any added pressure on him, but he had to work extra hard to get back in the good graces of, the folks who run this establishment. He had to prove himself, and he has come back and done a great job with the Rams organization. And he got a job, and he was kind of a boy genius, if you will, when he first got on. Maybe he was a little too young for that job. The job was a little bit too big for him. Now he's got a chance to work with some great coaches on his way back up. And much respect to him, man, and much respect to Atlanta, which is one of the premier jobs in the markets. So congratulations, Lady E, and all the folks in the ATL.
Maybe he gonna have butts and seats. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know where you I got a little.
Welcome, DT. Welcome, DT. Shout out to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Make sure y'all tune in and check them two brothers out for me, please.
What up, though? Trey Maestro, what up, though?
Exactly. So,
Maestro, we got that Detroit San Fran matchup, baby. Yeah.
So right now we all know Harbaugh. We already knew Harbaugh was going to the Chargers. The Chargers did not let that man out that building. They legitimately.
I try not to believe you. I try not to believe you.
No, they didn't let that man out the building. He was supposed to come see. He was legitimately supposed to come see the Hawks. Not the. Well, I said the Hawks. I'm looking at the Hawks TV. He's supposed to come see the Falcons. And they was like, nope, because we know if you go over there, they're going to hire you. We're not doing it. And they hired good old Jimbo out there to the Chargers, which that is a great pickup for them. He has a good Justin Herbert. He just got to figure out what's going to come down with the free agents and how he's going to get that team. Because, again, you got to think you got to play Kansas City twice a year now. So, again, I can't wait to see what they have for that with good old Jimbo coming over there. But I know this is going to be a side off topic. What does that leave Michigan right now? Because I heard some rumors about who the next head coach is going to be. But where does that leave Michigan right now?
First and foremost, man, listen here. We got to tell Jim, thank you, man. Thank you for coming back, man, and saving your alma mater. Man, you put the school, the brand on your back, because it was in a very mediocre place when you came and got it, man, and rescued us, man, and put us on your back for 9 years. I know it took a little longer than you expected. He don't stay too many places too long. 5 years is pretty much his limit, and he stayed here 9, man, until he got it right. 3 Big Ten championships and a national championship. So we got to first of all give him his kudos, man. Thank you. And also, man, it's crazy because I would think that he possibly could have some issues connecting with some of these owners in terms of his room when he interviews because of his quirkiness, if you will. But man, it seemed like Jim Harbaugh may have been one of, if not the most sought after coach, one of the most sought after coaches during this search, and got the premier job with the premier player with Justin Herbert. So thank you for all he did for Michigan. Thank you. I think he's gone into a great situation. As far as it leaves Michigan, as of right now, everyone's kind of lock and step, and we're hearing Sharon Moore is going to be the successor, if you will. But I think that there's definitely going to be a faction of folks, a faction of supporters who maybe want to see a bigger name in there. Just like you said about Raheem Morris, this is going to be a situation where Michigan will be hiring. If Sharon is the pick, their first African American coach at that university. I don't know if that's going to be some politics or not, but hopefully we're in a place where that won't come into play. But we know what what kind of world we live in. But I can see a guy like Brian Kelly from LSU, whose name kind of comes up because he's a guy who is from out north, as from the Northeast. But really cut his coaching teeth right here in the state of Michigan at Grand Valley State University, which is my alma mater, which is Division II football, but also at Central Michigan, where he coached for a few years and got that program back up and running and on his feet before going over to Cincinnati. So great feel for the Midwest, great affinity for the state of Michigan. He's done his thing at LSU, and that's an interesting name. And maybe that name, garners a little bit of attention and a little bit of momentum as the days go by. But I would expect Sharon Moore to be named the coach fairly quickly to kind of quell some of that. You know what I'm saying? But if the momentum gets going, and if the money gets to flowing, You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. And I think he's already kind of whispering in some folks' ear, I'm available for that one.
Yeah. DT, what do you think about the two? So even though we got one more coaching hire, but what do you think about the two coaching hires so far with Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers and now the Falcons, my Dirty Birds, getting Raheem Morris?
Yeah, I like both hires. These are I feel like they're perfect fit. Raheem Morris, he was a guy. If we all remember when he was with the Bucks, he was pretty young at the position. He learned with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Through all the season he was with them. But now you kind of see this now with Raheem, and you feel like he learned his lesson with taking the first job that's offered to you instead of just taking what is the best fit for you. And I feel like the Falcons organization made a great decision in giving him another shot because I feel like this guy, when you hear through old team he's been on, he's very charismatic, provides energy. He is a connector in the room. He's coached both sides, so that is a great benefit to him on his resume. So he's going to be able to connect in the defensive meetings and offensive meetings. And then Atlanta with all the pieces you got: Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, John Smith, possibly Tyler Algier. You guys got the weapons now. It's just trying to find a signal caller to go with those weapons. And y'all had a top 10 defense last year that nobody really talked about. You do lose Neeson, but you'll bring a defensive mind. So the one thing that's going to benefit the Falcons is I was so confident Morris is going to have a great staff. He's going to assemble great people around him. And I think that's going to be very great for a division that has, it's went the Bucks way, but you see how the division is kind of shaping up, and Atlanta is right there with the pieces. And I feel like that's a perfect fit. And, for Harbaugh, I kind of felt like, I saw the writings on the wall that he was going to be leaving Michigan, especially after winning the national championship. I didn't even know he played for the Chargers. So I guess that's a good benefit right there. And we know his time with the NFL, he was the QB whisperer, with Alex Smith revitalized his career, and he assembled a great staff. The one thing I can say about Jim Harbaugh, he gives guys an opportunity to be on coaching staff, and they develop their coaching. They develop their relationship with the younger guys, either college or NFL, and they get a shot like a Mike McDonald, who's now leading one of the best defenses we have seen in a while for the Baltimore Ravens. They're playing on AFC Championship Saturday against the Chiefs. And I think this is a great fit because the problem with the Chargers has always been not only getting over the hump, but I always felt like it was coaching getting the guys over the hump. The Chargers for the past, when they had Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers, they always had talent, but they can never get over the hump. And I truly feel like Jim Harbaugh, he is the perfect guy to do that for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Even after that, we did have another coaching hire. The Tampa Bay's OC goes to the Carolina Panthers, Dave Canellis. How do y'all feel about that? I think Carolina kind of panicked. I think they kind of panicked. That's just me. I really think that they kind of panic with that pick of people saying it's a good pick for them, but I think that they, in my honest opinion, kind of panicked.
For me personally, I don't know very much about him. This is like the first year I really got a chance to really see him in action. I don't know, who all Carolina interviewed, who all was actually, really, really interested in the job. I know that Ben Johnson, I think last year, removed himself from consideration for that job. I don't know. I heard he was pretty high on their list this year. I don't know if he's been interviewed or if he was going to remove himself from consideration again. But maybe it was a situation that everybody, all the premier guys weren't interested in those jobs. We haven't heard any of the big name guys, go and interview for those jobs. And maybe, some of the younger coaches who, feel like that they'll be taking a little bit of a leap of faith by taking that job, didn't want to put themselves in that position to where, this may be the only look I get, and it's not a great look already. So I'll just wait for a better opportunity to come my way.
Yeah. DT?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of heard some
rumblings for at least a week about Kavanaugh probably getting the shot to be the head man in Carolina. And as soon as I saw Dan Morgan got promoted to general manager, I instantly connected. Them guys were at a time were at Seattle, and now I will give credit was credit due. Canal, to me, I've been watching a lot of Tampa games. For his resume to working with Russell Wilson, revitalizing Geno Smith's career last year, even though he had kind of a down year this year, but helping Baker out in some of the tendencies that he were becoming a flaw and made him now his strengths. I think this is clearly a quarterback move to get Bryce Young going in that organization. Now, I don't know much after that other than he's a quarterback developer for the past couple of years. It's going to be interesting to see what type of staff they're going to assemble around him. Like, what is his relationship? Just said Seattle. Who can they pick from Seattle or other stuff that he have? Do I feel like it's a panic move? If probably so, but I will give the benefit of the doubt. I feel like this guy, from what I was hearing the past couple of weeks, I was even myself as a Commanders fan, I was kind of intrigued with him a little bit. But it's like Barbara said, it's kind of a wait and see to see how this is going to go, because the biggest thing is going to be about temperance, patience with temper. He's been letting go his coaches, and he's still paying the guys that got fired. And the Panthers, they have bigger holes than what people expect, and then some of their draft picks have kind of aggressive, including Equano. Equano did not have a good year on the offensive line.
So that's another question for me. And maybe he went in there and wowed him. When Mike Tomlin interviewed for the Pittsburgh job, no one knew who he was. It was kind of people thought it was kind of going to be kind of more so a formality for them. And he came out and wowed him. So maybe that's what Mr. Canales has done with Carolina. But again, though, I would be eager to see Dan Morgan. He was the assistant GM there, like you said. But it's been a while since they've made some great picks over there. They got a couple of guys since I don't want to say Chung. What's the safety name?
Chen.
There we go. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Since Chen and Burns has been kind of suspect after that, so he's going to a situation where Dan Morgan is there. Is this guy the guy who can build up the personnel for that team there? Have we seen Canales show the ability to build a staff before? Not gonna say panic. Maybe he went in there and wowed him, but this one has me scratching my head a little bit. Such as and the one in Mr. Callahan, that one in Tennessee has me a little. That shocked me a little bit. What do you guys think about that?
The one in Tennessee?
Yes, Brian Callahan.
That was a shocking one because I didn't expect that one. But I think for me, I wasn't impressed with him. I'm sorry. I wasn't impressed with him as much so with kind of what he did this past season with the Bengals. So that one for me, I think that was just like the Tennessee's like, okay, we just need to find somebody. That's just how I looked at it, because it came out of left field for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they would be looking more for a more so of a defensive minded coach, not on the offensive side. But I think that they're looking at kind of what he's done with Joey, and want to probably get that same attribute out of Levis. So that's just kind of how I see it.
Well, if you're gonna do that, you gotta get pieces around him. Look at the Tennessee roster offensively. While you're talking about potentially Derrick Henry leaving Tennessee, I like Tajay Spears, but majority of their production, from what I've seen, came from Hopkins, and brother Traylon Burks has not stayed healthy enough to even contribute. That I will say that hire kind of questioned me a little bit too, because I didn't really expect him to really be on the market like that. I don't want to be a casual, but probably have to say it anyway, but maybe he got the job maybe because of his name. His father is Bill Callahan, one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tennessee is going to be. I mean, like, I still disagree with the fact of firing Vrabel. I just think Vrabel had to find an offensive guy to help Will Levis and probably get some weapons around him to get the offense going. I felt like he did a solid job, but Tennessee, man, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be looking this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard of Brian Callahan's name around, a little bit, because again, he had definitely done the work, in Cincinnati. He'd also had done some work with Stafford, so I believe he comes out of that McVay kind of coaching tree a little bit. And again, his dad was a head coach for a little bit in the NFL, definitely known for his offensive mind. He's been an offensive coordinator as well as an O-line coach, and I believe he's going to be going with him to Tennessee as well. So his name is definitely in the NFL circles. It was a surprise to us, but they definitely certainly knew about him. But yeah, man. So
I agree with what Barbershop Sports Talks podcast said, that if that is the case, like you said, what he can do with Levis, and then if T. Higgins is going to be a target, I could see them using that to bring in Levis to give him the targets, like you just said. What are they going to build around him? You know what I mean?
So, real quick, is D Hop, and I'm sorry, but is D Hop under contract for some a couple of years there, or is he going to be a free agent?
It was a 1-year deal, wasn't it?
There's a Tennessee fan in here. I don't know if he's still in here. Book, answer that question. Just put it in the chat. I want to say they signed him for 2. I want to say that. I want to say they signed him for 2.
Okay.
Me personally, I think they need a little bit some speed.
That's interesting. If they can add a T. Higgins with with a D Hop, that might be a little interesting. Tajay back there, that's needs some offensive line work, but it gets a little interesting there though. So I gotta ask you, DT, man. Listen, man, check this out right here, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like we need one more year with Ben Johnson, so I'm gonna need y'all to veer left, make a little decision. What's up with Vrabel? Vrabel out here, he a proven winner, man. What's up? You like defensive coaches? He trying to get your defense tightened up. What's up with him, man?
Before you see him, there goes one more year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's solid. Okay, get T. Higgins. Get T. Higgins or get some speed up there. Troy Franklin, something like that. Get some speed.
Say do something.
But so I'm not even gonna lie. When you look at the coaching list for Washington, majority of the candidates are defensive minded coaches. That was including Raheem Morris, Mike McDonald. I haven't heard anything about Vrabel. I would entertain Vrabel, but I feel like
I'm trying to wonder why. Like, what's up?
I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. If I was with, a matter of fact, if I was one of those guys they announced with Bob Myers and Rick Spielman, like they said DT up there with the group to see who can be head coach and stuff, I'll definitely sneak you some info. But unfortunately, I can't do that right now. But I don't know, man. From what I'm getting the feeling, some of these coaches are not going to get an opportunity this year. I think they're going to wait for the next cycle.
Mm-hmm. That's what we kind of said about Bobby down there today in our spaces, that he's going to be one of the top hottest candidates, especially if he has another season like that with CJ and pop out. He's going to be another top candidate if a lot of some of these coaches don't pan out. So I can see it. I feel like he's going to be one. Even I know they was talking about Ravens flock earlier, but I'm gonna say this: if the DC from the Ravens don't get picked this year,
getting. I feel like Slovic and McDonald. I think they're gonna wait another cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I need to hear some other names coming from the Commanders camp, man, than Ben Johnson. Who is some other?
Y'all get Bill Belichick.
Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you casuals out there, man. Those that are trying to talk about some Billy Jack. Billy Goat ain't coming over here. John Kahn debunked that multiple times for the first couple of weeks. And it seems to me the guy has been Ben Johnson now if Ben Johnson somehow doesn't get this job, maybe a McDonald maybe he might intrigue that. They're still looking at the Baltimore Ravens establishment, how they establish their team, but from what it's looking, it's looking like it's Ben Johnson's job.
Yeah. But that won't happen until the Detroit
Either this weekend or the Super Bowl. Hopefully, he goes to the Super Bowl.
What about Dan Quinn?
That's Seattle.
I think that's Seattle. I think that's.
I mean, the Commanders did offer him a second interview. They did do that. But I think that's Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, man. Anybody but Ben. We need one more year. One more year.
Yeah, nah. Like some Falcon fans were kind of upset that we didn't get Ben Johnson, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think with the hiring of Harbaugh, how quick that went, and some of because again, Callahan, we did interview him. We didn't do Canellis, but we did, interview him. We wanted to interview Harbaugh. We did Bill Belichick. I think we talked to like 15 freaking coaches, and a lot of people are like, why are we talking to those many people? And then when you're starting to see people start popping off the board like that, especially people that you had high on your board, you got to go in and make the offer. And then too, little do people know, we don't know what offers were coming in for Raheem. And you never know. I work in HR, so I know how it is. If you're interviewing for other people and that's who you want, and they're coming to tell me, well, look, I got other offers. Hey, let's get it. And I think that's what it was with today. After Bobby left, they were probably impressed with him, but wasn't like as impressed as they were with Raheem, and said, that's our guy. I think they already knew it was the guy, but they still wanted to see what Bobby had to offer. So that's that for us. So I'm glad I got my coach, though.
I need Washington to fall in love with somebody else.
You said what?
I need Washington to fall in love with somebody else.
So here goes a question that I have before we move on. EB, where does that leave him?
EB who?
Eric Bieniemy. You know what?
Let me answer this. So I'm kind of glad that they did do due diligence and gave him an opportunity to interview for the job. Because
sound like some hate finna come.
I was questioning for the past couple of weeks. I was like, yo, come on, don't do this guy dirty. Because at the end of the day, did we finish the season 4-13 and some of that was his fault? I mean, okay, look, everybody gets blamed. But this man took a risk that nobody would usually take. He went to a team that was guaranteed lame duck with a fifth-round quarterback and a defense that was expected to be at least top 10 or middle of the pack to help a young and growing offense. And he barely had his own staff. He didn't have the personnel that he would actually have, especially offensive line-wise. But man, I don't know, man. I think EB is going to be a hot OC candidate, to be quite honest with you, despite what happened this year. I think people will probably look at, well, this was a Ron Rivera / Washington team that he went to. Yeah. I'll be nervous to go to the Eagles.
I'm gonna have to ask what the definition of hot means. What you mean? Like he gonna be in hot demand, or he gonna maybe find a job? I think
he's gonna get a job very quickly. I don't want to put every single piece on EB. I understand there are some things. Obviously, there are some things with every single coordinator that you want your guy to do. And for me and EB, I want EB to run the ball a little bit more. I wanted him to run the ball. I wanted him to take the hits and take the pass attempts off of Sam Howell, because clearly throwing the ball for a guy that had a high percentage of sacks he took in college, I would prefer him maybe throw at least 30 times a game and you run 35 with Brian Robinson, who was getting good yardage and touchdowns this year. I felt like we should have leaned on Brian Robinson a little bit more. When you watch Kansas City, I didn't watch when he had Patrick Mahomes. even though he was the OC. I was watching film when they had Alex Smith because that's what I pictured the team would to actually be, because I knew we didn't have a Travis Kelce. I knew we didn't have a Mahomes at quarterback. But unfortunately, none of that stuff happened. I don't want to put the blame on it. I mean, we were top 5 in the red zone. We had some good games and stuff. I still think his resume should not be that tarnished that much, despite going to Washington and had a 4-13 record.
Man, shoot, DT, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I don't think
you can get him.
Good.
We can trade. You can have a.
No. I don't think he. I don't. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what hot is and demand is. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, we go to look at what happened in Kansas City. There was some question about who was actually calling plays. I think we gave him the sticks in Philly. I'm sorry, in Washington. I wasn't too impressed with how he called plays. He, we say he took a risk, but the bottom line was he was a lame duck coach over at Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? For him to take the next step, he was going to have to be able to go somewhere where he could, get on the sticks and show that he could, dial up an effective offense. So we didn't see that. Now there was some issues. There was some, some O-line problems that, definitely, hampered what he was trying to do. But, as a coordinator, you got to be able to evaluate, your personnel, and you have to kind of know that that's an issue, and you got to kind of decide how you're going to play ball and how you're going to kind of hide that issue. And I don't know if he did that effectively. When you look at being a head coach possibility, you want somebody who's a leader of men. He went over there initially, and I don't know, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but there was immediately problems in terms of chemistry and him translating his coaching style, translating over to the players. There were a lot of players who didn't, early on in the process, maybe it changed, spoke up, basically not wanting to be coached the way that he was coaching. So you combine, I don't know what you guys finished offensively overall, but I didn't see a consistent offense. I didn't see a lot of continuity on the offensive, landscape. I didn't see him consistently use the weapons that you guys had over there offensively. I didn't see the consistent growth from Sam Howell and development from Sam Howell. I think there was somewhat the way he called games was to Sam Howell's detriment. And then I didn't see the connection with players. We had Tracy, not Tracy, McLaurin at the introductory news conference saying he wants to be coached by him, blah, blah, blah. But then we get to camp, what I'm saying? All we're hearing is we practicing too much, we doing too much, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Ryan, get him off of us. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the new age of player. But whatever the case may be, EB's coaching style currently, I hate to say it, but I got to be real, is not really, resonating with that group of players per se, and may not resonate on a larger scale. He may have to be an assistant to the assistant. I hate to say it. He may have to, that may be the best role for him. I don't know. Maybe his resume prior to this is great enough where a lot of folks are going to look for him to run their next offense. I don't know.
But don't you find it weird though, if you were watching our games down the stretch, that when Brissett got in, the play calling was way different when he had a Sam Howell. Now
I don't know if it was way different or just a more effective quarterback running the plays. Which I would say to this: if that is the case, then why isn't he? Because everybody's in a lame duck situation. If that's the case, if he can run it better than he can, and it's clearly evident, then why is Sam out
there? That's what I'm trying to get to. Because Ron came out and said he anointed Sam way too early. He anointed him way too early.
But here's my problem. I'm the OC. Ron, I'm telling you, bro, check this out. You lame duck, I'm lame duck. We ain't going to get nowhere. We neither one of us is going to get where we need to be messing with this cat right here.
I get what you're saying. But
I don't believe that conversation was had early enough and often enough, because I'm going to tell you, even if Ryan feels that way, he's going to start looking at practice a little bit different. He's going to start saying, I hear my man in my ear. This is what I hire him to do. I hear him in the ear. Let me see what's going on. And if he sees it, he's probably going to make the change. He's probably going to make the change.
That's the problem, though, Henry. Ron hesitated on change. Like that has been the biggest problem with Ron Rivera when he was in Washington. He knew stuff was not going the way that he expected it. He wanted, so he will wait till week 13 in the season to make change. He knew that Jack Del Rio was running a defense that was not matching up with the personnel he had on the field, with the players, and putting our players in turmoil.
I don't know if you knew that because y'all was good defensively last year. You wouldn't tell.
Let's be real though. See, Henry, the only reason the defense was not even good in 2022. Let's be completely honest.
It was better.
No, it wasn't good at all. Let's be real. We had the number one time of possession offense because we were running the ball to the point we were very ineffective and we kept the defense on the field. They just made enough plays. But we played teams that had average to elite quarterbacks. They were getting torched. The way Scott Turner was running the offense, it was masking the deficiencies of Washington defense.
I'm gonna tell you like this. If my boy, what was my man who was the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady?
Leftwich.
Mm-hmm. If Leftwich is out of football 2 years later, I can see EB being out this year.
That's possible. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Not forever, but I can see people like, I don't know. As a coordinator, I don't know. Maybe as a running backs coach, maybe as an assistant head coach in some capacity, whatever. But I don't know. I wasn't impressed. I'm sorry. Let's get the energy back up, though.
Good. But I'm gonna combine two topics together because we kind of touched on them earlier, but we're gonna break them down just a little bit. Mahomes versus Lamar, and are the 49ers on an upset alert? So with Mahomes and Lamar, do we all agree or do we have a disagree that this could possibly be a legacy game between these two? You got the one and only Patrick Mahomes, and then you got where everybody is waiting to see and want to see prosper, Lamar Jackson. What do we think about this game between the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens? I gotta say Baltimore, like they say in Baltimore. We'll start with you, DT. What do you think?
Man, look, this is without a doubt a legacy game, especially for Lamar Jackson. And for those that know about Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens and some of the stuff he's going through, he's carrying a lot of weight, and you guys know what I'm talking about. He's carrying a lot of weight, and this is a game where a lot of people are going to be rooting for him because of the story that he's had, from being the last guy in the room to defying all the odds of what people said he was going to be. And I understand he had his comments this week, said, I basically paraphrasing like, man, I don't like going against my home, but these are the moments where we defy the legacy. These are where everything gets stamped. And what could be a better picture for Lamar Jackson to go against Patrick Mahomes in his home stadium and have a chance to not only beat him at home in a playoff setting, but to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl and get an opportunity to finish what your quote was in that draft room with Deion Sanders. They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. So this is a legacy game at the highest altitude, and it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I cannot wait. And then it's also going to be a legacy game for Mahomes. Can't leave his name out of it. Despite all the trials and tribulations he went through this season, they still defy the odds, and they're still in the AFC Championship for the 6th straight year with, a young and still growing wide receiver core. Travis Kelce having a down year, and having his best defense he had since he's been in Kansas City. The Marvels are going to be up for this game, man. And you're going to have to put this in the legacy books on CBS. I cannot wait for this matchup.
Henry?
I'm gonna say this, yeah, it's definitely, a legacy game for both players. When you look at, Lamar, this is a possible legacy maker, because right now, what has he been? He's gonna be looking like a two-time MVP winner, but he hasn't been in a Super Bowl. So, he hasn't beaten Mahomes when it counts, which is the playoffs. So this is definitely a legacy-making game for him. When we look at Patrick Mahomes, this is just kind of a legacy addition game for him. It's like, can he? It's like Jordan. He like Jordan out here. He doing this thing. It's clearly that he's the man, the myth, the legend. He's the man out here. Am I gonna add another scout? To my wall. Am I gonna get the reigning two-time MVP? Am I gonna go into his house on Sunday, put my feet up on the couch, pour me up something to drink, and sit down and take over the building, like it's my own? Or am I gonna play a great game but possibly lose to the next up and coming, thing? So definitely, interesting what this game is gonna, possibly bring, and there's definitely legacies involved in this game.
I feel you. I mean, like I said, again, this is gonna be must-see TV. To kind of see them go back and forth, especially with that Baltimore's defense against this, Patrick Mahomes led offense. You know what I mean? Again, Kansas City has a good, decent defense. And I would love to see that and see how they're going to stop the Todd Monken Lamar ran offense. So it's going to be a good game. It really is. It's going to be a very good game. Probably one of the highest ranked, conference games we probably seen in a while, because it's going to be there. I feel like both of the players are going to come out and lay it all out on the field. I mean, Lamar is probably going to be a little bit more passionate for Lamar because he's one step closer to reaching that goal, and that's to get a Super Bowl. Pat wants to go back again. But again, like you said, it's just the 6th straight time. So this again, I know some fans were saying this is Patriots, and Patrick Mahomes is almost kind of in that Brady category. So a lot of fans are kind of sick of seeing KC. So I think a lot of people are cheering for the Ravens. I think they're tired of seeing and hearing about Patrick Mahomes. But to go ahead.
And my time watching football, this is probably the most excited I have been to see a quarterback matchup like this, because I have been a big Lamar fan since his days at Louisville, and I have grown ever since I seen Patrick Mahomes started in Kansas City, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this matchup, man. Like this might make me smile from tonight till the game start. Like this game gonna be legit for me.
Well, look, hey, this is must-see TV for real, for real. We finally get a matchup that I think everybody's been wanting to see for a very long time. So I think a lot of folks can't wait. But next question. Are the 49ers on upset alert? Do we have to be concerned with the 49ers, especially after that kind of mediocre-ist, play that they played against Green Bay? Or do we feel that Detroit has the weapons, has the power to actually beat a San Francisco 49ers team? Go, DT shaking his head. Go ahead, DT, pop it off.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, I think it's going to be strength on strength. We're talking about the 49ers defense, and we're talking about the Lions offense. Of course, I'm definitely going to be watching Ben Johnson and his crew, but I'm also going to see what his offensive line, what his skill position is going to do against a very vaunted 49ers-led defense with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and the all-pro corner Chardavius Ward. Like, I'm itching at that matchup, and I'm also itching at, I understand Kyle Shanahan and Purdy, they're going to, find ways to move a ball, but I think Aaron Glenn is going to have some things against the 49ers. And I think the key of the game, obviously, is going to be the turnovers. Who's going to turn over at the crucial time? And if the Lions get a turnover or two, I think they're going to cook up some plays. And the one thing that I noticed, they're very methodical. They love to drive down the field, and they like to test your manhood. And with that offensive line against that defensive line, it's going to be strength against strength, like I said. And it's going to be a matchup. The Detroit Lions have the pieces to beat the 49ers.
Talk to them, DT. They don't believe. They don't believe.
They don't
just
believe.
Can't see. They can't see it. They can't fathom it. They just don't understand how this team from Detroit could possibly put together, you know what I'm saying, a path to victory over them. I mean, they don't understand it, man. And I'm trying to tell you, it can very well happen. We look at these two teams, man, and I'm telling you, it's besides defensively, offensively, we're looking at mirrors of each other. We're looking at two teams who want to run the football, who want to control the line of scrimmage, who want to get, you know, active in the play action game. When you look at Jared Goff, and you look at Brock Purdy, you see pretty much the same dude. Pretty much guys who want to get the ball out in a timely fashion to their offensive weapons so they can make plays in the passing game. So to me, how these two players play in this game, the one who makes, you know what I'm saying, who makes the most dynamic plays and the least amount of mistakes, is gonna be who probably dictates the winner of this game, man. So this is big time football, baby.
I agree. This is going to be another one that a lot of people are going to tune in because, like I said, my sentiments stand from last week. I want to make sure that Dan Campbell doesn't Dan Campbell. That's my only concern. I believe that everybody can put it together. We've seen them put everything together when they played against the Bucks. But I just need them to know, like, again, it doesn't get easier from here. You got to understand the scheme. You got to make sure that you're scheming right. And I need Dan Campbell not to Dan Campbell.
I'm gonna tell you to that point, Lady E, it's gonna be imperative that we get off to a very, very good start.
Exactly.
We got to get off to a good start, and we can't find ourselves down by more than two scores.
In the turnover battle, the Goff can't go out there making those clumsy.
He can't go out there making can't turn it over. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see, man. I think that, you know, San Fran is going to be surprised at our ability to run the football. Like you said, you know, they didn't get any pressure on. I'm not saying not any pressure, but they didn't get home a lot last week against Jordan Love. He is a little bit more mobile. Than Jared, but at the same time, that offensive line held up pretty well, and they also held up fairly well in the run game. I think that we're going to have some opportunities to make some plays in the run game as well as the pass game. Mr. Ward, I don't know if he's going to travel. I don't know if he's going to play in the slot against Amon-Ra St. Brown. If it's my boy Ambry Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Much love to my guy from Michigan, but you know, you've been kind of like barbecue chicken them last couple of weeks out here, and if you and Amon-Ra is kind of matched up, I like our chances, you know what I'm saying? And I like some of the unsung guys. I like David Montgomery. I like Josh Reynolds being able to make a couple plays in this game. Sam Laporta being able to make a couple plays in this game. So you know, it's going to be hard to score on them, but at the same time, I think the blueprint has been there. When they lost to Cincinnati earlier this year, Burrow was able to throw the football on him for over 280 yards. Mixon ran the ball for 87 yards in that game. When they lost to Cleveland, that was quarterbacked by DTR at that time. They gave up over 150 yards rushing in that ball game. Their defense, Cleveland's defense, was able to hold down San Francisco. But again, though, they are susceptible to the run at times. Minnesota was able to not do so much damage on the ground, but we saw Kirk Cousins go crazy, 380 yards through the air against that San Francisco defense. Now, I will say this: those 3 games they lost, those were 3 games where they didn't have Debo, and I believe they didn't have Trent Williams, so they only scored 17 points those games. So offensively, they were not the same monster that we see day in and day out. And also, I believe Brock Purdy had multiple turnovers in 2 of those 3 games. So there is a blueprint. There is a blueprint to beat them. Also, one last point: CMC in those 3 losses had under 70 yards rushing, I believe, in all 3 contests. So the blueprint is stop the run, put pressure on Purdy, hope he makes a mistake. When they lost to Baltimore, he threw 4 picks. I don't think that Baltimore got home with a sack, but they were able to put pressure on him, confuse him with some looks, and got 4 interceptions. So the blueprint is there. Is can we execute it? And again, I'm going to tell you right now, we giving up probably 280 to 300 through the air. That's just what be happening with us. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, can we cause that timely interception? Can we get that timely turnover? Can we get that timely big play, that negative play, that sack or tackle for loss, and put you in the negative down and distance, man? And can we hold up? We just need, again, the magic number is 23. We need to hold them to 23 or lower, and we need to score more than 23. So that's how I look at it, baby. 23 and me, baby.
23.
Observation. I think for me that I noticed the very first playoff game when y'all played the Lions, you guys had multiple 70-yard touchdown drives. Then the second half, even though Morris made adjustments, I feel like you guys need to step on the throat and be aggressive like I saw last week. The second half, Ben Johnson was cooking, Jared Goff was cooking, being very aggressive with the play calling, attacking the weaknesses of Tampa Bay. I think you guys need to do the same thing with the weaknesses of the 49ers. Obviously, we know as far as their defense is, they are going to, give up some yards. And Jared Goff, we have seen when he plays good, he plays good. He plays on time and everything. The offensive line should be able to hold his own against that defensive line and get the playmakers the ball in the hand and shoot. Mm-hmm. I think we can see some underrated guys like you mentioned, man. They make plays this week.
This is gonna be both of the games are actually some good matchups. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we get those matchups sometimes where we're like, okay, these weren't as good matchups and they turn out to be okay games. But I feel like these are gonna be like close. These are gonna be close win matchups. I feel like these all teams that are playing right now are somewhat in some sense evenly matched with one another. It's going to be the team that makes the most mistakes on both ends, from the Detroit to 49ers to the Chiefs to Baltimore. Like the ones that'll make the least mistake, win the turnover battle, and like you said, score the most points is going to be the one to win. And I mean, we're talking about two stout defenses, both from Detroit and the 49ers. And then you're talking about offenses that are powerful, even though we know Baltimore has a defense as well, but you're talking about that as well. So looking at it from both standpoints, this is going to be a very, very, very good weekend for some nice conference championship.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we got our game picks and then Super Bowl predictions. I know, Henry, you already gave your little score for your game. DC, what do you think about the 49ers and the Detroit? What are your picks? And then who do you have going to the Super Bowl?
Oh, man.
Well, hold on. Scratch that. Let me send that back. My brain is moving faster than my mouth. So let's do the picks first with Baltimore and the Chiefs, and then the 49ers and the Bucks, and then you can give us your Super Bowl predictions.
Okay.
49ers and the Lions. I don't know why them Bucks is so much on your mind today.
I quit. Look, I'm too excited about Raheem Morris right now. We've been talking about the Bucks. Look, and I'm looking at the little picture. I'm like, just y'all don't mind me. It's past my bedtime.
As long as she ain't thinking about Josh Freeman, I'm good.
Woo! Nah.
But so 49ers and Lions. Talk about the matchups. I talked about for the Lions. I think Lions can pull the upset, man. I'm rooting for the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the Lions with the upset.
Okay, DT.
Got the weapon, and I'm kind of tired of the 49ers. It would be nice 49ers go to the Super Bowl, but look, I like the underdog story. What better underdog story to have Detroit Lions pull out the upset in San Francisco? So I got the Lions winning.
So I'm talking about DT.
Oh man, the game that's going to be highly touted though. Look. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. That defense has showed out. I don't think, in my opinion, they showed up last week. They just did enough to get the victory against the Buffalo Bills, but they should have lost. Baltimore, in my opinion, is a complete team. They can run the football. They can pass with Tom Monken's good concepts. It's looking like Mark Andrews is coming back, going to give it a go this week. That 12 personnel is going to be nasty. that Baltimore's defense. Oh my God, the guys they have up there. I just feel like, man, it's sometimes it's somebody's time, and I'm going
George
with
Muscle
Baltimore.
boy. Shout out to Raheem.
I'm going with Baltimore to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a thriller, and I got the Ravens and the Lions in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
I like
think
that,
that
DT. I
like
like
that.
that, DT.
So Henry, you gave us your score, and we
I
already
didn't,
know
I
you're
didn't really
going.
give you this. I didn't really give you the score. I
Didn't
just kind of,
really? Okay.
that was just the you know what I'm saying, the threshold. You know what I'm
The
saying? I believe
threshold. Okay.
the
So we
threshold. That's 23 and me.
that 23. Oh, Lord Jesus. So we know you got Detroit winning. We know.
Yes, yes.
We already know.
Let me tell you why real quick. First and foremost, thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? The Lions for getting us here. I'm respectfully to the 49ers, man. Listen, man. Y'all on paper, y'all look good. Best little roster. Y'all here. Purdy is an MVP candidate. CMC is an MVP candidate. We know about, you know what I'm saying, the big tackle. We know about Warner, Greenlaw, and all that. And really on paper, I guess, you know, we might as well not play the game. We just let y'all, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and do y'all thing because, you know, y'all supposed to be here and all that good stuff. But check this out right here. Check this out. It's our time now, baby. It's our time. We here. We got to play the games. And we not going to be, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to be punks. We're not going to be punked. There's a path to victory for us. I know y'all can't fathom it. Y'all can't see it because we the Lions. Y'all think it's the same old Lions and all that. I want you to keep thinking that. We're going to come take what's ours. We coming all the way out to the Bay. You know what I'm saying? We're going to come to wine country and win, and then we're going to go over to Oakland and party. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the real party going on over there in Oakland. But this is what has to happen. We must win the turnover battle, like you said, Lady E. We must force some extra possessions for our offense that actually work as stops for our defense and keep that offense off the field. We must somehow outrush, outplay CMC. Now I'm saying was because I'm thinking we got to use both of our running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs in tandem. We must outrush and control the time of possession and keep CMC off the field. I think if he scores multiple touchdowns, we're gonna be in trouble. Last but not least, we have to contain the pass rushing. We must protect Goff, give him time to make plays in the passing game, get the balls downfield to our playmakers, and again, force that defense and that secondary to make plays. Is Tre'Davious Ward the real deal? Can he travel? Is he going to travel with Amon-Ra St. Brown? If not, who is checking him? Who is going to keep him in check? Can some of our other pieces, like Laporta, like Reynolds, like Khalif Raymond, like Donovan Peoples-Jones, can those guys step up and make plays on the big stage? You know what I'm saying? They say we're young. They say we don't know what's going on, but I'm going to tell you, I like that Goff has played y'all multiple times. He knows what he does well. He knows what gives y'all, you know, what gives him problems that y'all do. So with that being said, hopefully Ben Johnson can, you know what I'm saying, put something together game plan wise that can counter that. And again, we saw a lot on tape last week from Green Bay. We saw a lot in some of these other games. And there's a path to win, man. So I'm going Detroit 27. Them 49ers 24. Because you know what? We talk about the Cowboys and when they lose, first and second round, we don't give San Fran no grief because they got championships. They're a very, very proud franchise, but it's been a long time. We don't get them no grief because this one they usually fall off right here. Right here by hook or crook, whether somebody break their elbow, break their neck, fall down, trip, miss a field goal, whatever maybe. This is where they fall. This is their kryptonite right here. So maybe it's time for the team who ain't never did it before, the doormat of the NFL, to fucking stand up and go to the Super Bowl. And it happened to be in Vegas, and you know Detroiters love Vegas. So let's go, Detroit. 27-24. The Lions. Let's go.
And who you got for Baltimore and the Chiefs?
Oh, Baltimore and the Chiefs. Look, another great game. Lamar, he needs it for his legacy. For real, for real. I think they are the best team on paper. Again, Kansas City. Not themselves, not what we've seen previous years, but still battling for a Super Bowl. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going for Boy Wonder and Lamar, man. I'm going for him to upset. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to call it an upset, but to knock off the great one right now, to knock off Mahomes. Hey man, Brady didn't win them all. You know what I'm saying? Some of these other guys got to eat too, got a seat at the table. So it's time for Lamar to get him a seat at the table to go with that. You know what I'm saying? That's that 2-time MVP.
All right. So you got Detroit and Baltimore.
That's what I got, baby.
Okay. So for me, like I said, again, my mom, like my family in the Bay. Shout out to all my people in the Bay. All of them from Daly City all the way up to Sacramento, all the way down to that San Jose. Um, but, but, but,
Uh-oh.
but, but,
Mm-mm.
I like to see new blood.
Mm.
So let's go Detroit. I like to see new
Oh.
blood. Again, I want to see it. Now, here's a hard pick because I want Lamar to get his legacy together, but I just have a love for Big Red. Y'all know I love Andy Reid. Um, but but I know my baby daddy gonna be happy about this because he's a Ravens fan all the way from California. So he's going to be happy about me going and choosing the Baltimore Ravens. So
Okay.
Roquan, I love you. Go out there, make Georgia proud, baby. Go ahead and go do that. Lamar, let's get your legacy locked up.
Mm.
Let's go. So I do have a Detroit and Baltimore Super Bowl. That's what
Let's
I
do it for the inner city, baby. Let's
Yes,
do
let's
it
go.
from the
I
Great
ain't
Lakes
gonna
to
lie
the
to you.
harbor. Let's do it.
Look,
Let's
I'm
do
not gonna lie
it.
to you. Since this Super Bowl gonna be in Las Vegas, this gonna be the most ghettoest Super Bowl though because you got
Hold on,
Detroit
don't
and
do
you
us
got
like that. Don't do
Baltimore.
us like
It's
that.
gonna be the most
It's
ghettoest
gonna
Super
be
Bowl.
urban, not ghetto. It's gonna be urban.
Nah, cause I seen the pictures of how y'all gonna be when y'all pull up to the Super Bowl with them fur coats. I can
It's gonna
see it
be
already.
urban, not ghetto. No, no, they're gonna want their toes out. They're gonna want their Achilles greased and them heels greased. Get your heels done before y'all go out to Vegas. We don't want no cracked heels out there, okay? It's hot out there. They already be cracked, then they hit that pavement. There's really gonna be some bleeding going on out there. Listen, get your heels together. Get your Achilles greased
I,
before y'all go
I
out there.
I am so done. I'm so done with that. No, no, really. But no, this is again, these are some good matchups coming up this weekend for real, for real. Good luck to all the teams that are out there. Good luck to you, C. Henry, and your Detroit Lions.
Let's go.
And we once this happens, NFL is gonna be over, and then we get to go talk some good draft talk. We get to go talk that Senior Bowl coming up, baby. The practice finna start. They finna have a game. It's finna get real, okay? So I'm gonna let DT since DT popped in the last. I'm gonna let you close it out, my good brother. Get your final thoughts because you're the last one of us over here that actually needs a coach right now.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you close it out.
And just act like Ben Johnson is not available.
Hey, but so look, we're talking about a pivotal weekend in National Football League. The Raiders gonna be going crazy, and I talk about that weight. I talk about the weight that Lamar Jackson is carrying. For those that need context, I don't think people realize, how much this young man means to me as a teacher. When I see, I'm starting to see kids be like, man, I want to be like Lamar Jackson. I want to be like Lamar. Usually everybody talks about the Aaron Rodgers, the Peyton Mannings when I was growing up, but now kids are having somebody like Lamar Jackson, leading the way for the Black community, and the way that he's carrying it is very tremendous, and that's why we're rooting for him. For him, back in the day, telling him he had to be a wide receiver, and he refused to work out as a wide receiver, and he wanted to be a quarterback. The people dogging him during his pro day when he was missing multiple throws, and still questions about him. And despite the fact that he won an MVP his second year, despite the fact he is 19-1 against a whole conference by himself, despite the fact that in all the things that has been going on in the AFC, and me personally, I always felt like he was the guy that you're talking about tiers. I always felt like he was in that tier with Lamar. And what better way to cement and get your legacy going to go up against the man, to go up against Patrick Mahomes, who has 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. You get them at your house, and that's how the legacy starts. And ladies and gentlemen, you're about to witness greatness on Sunday between 2 African-American quarterbacks, and I expect them to put on a show. So buckle up next week, because next week we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including the potential Super Bowl matchup. Y'all have a great night.